Hello and welcome back to Black Girl Couch Reviews. I'm your host, Christina. We are back for the 9th episode of Charmed Season 4, Truth or Cares, written by Carolyn Townsend, directed by Eduardo Sanchez. I gave this episode a 10 out of 10. I really enjoyed it from start to finish. I think that them doing a character redemption for a character I personally wasn't overly invested in, but really found myself caring about in this episode was a smart choice. Going back into a lot of the criticism from last year, they're really finding ways to course correct some things that they feel may have been a fair criticism. And I think with the character of Ruby, I was kind of curious all season, like, what are we going to do with her? Why is she still around? Why are we introducing her in this capacity? And it all really led up to this episode, and it was worth it because I was emotionally invested in ways that I didn't think I was emotionally invested. I also really liked how they handled the adoption situation. They didn't use lines that I typically hate, which is, it's gonna be fine. They're gonna love you. You know, things like that just aren't true, which television shows and movies tend to do a lot. So I like the way they realistically handled that. We got an answer to a question, but now a huge mystery, and then an even larger mystery at the end of the episode. So all around, just a really solid for the show. I think it deserves a renewal. I think it deserves another year that it's finally starting to find its own pace and has a cohesiveness that it has been lacking since I watched the show personally. I know a lot of people like season 1 a lot more. I like season 2 a lot more. However, we all can agree that the pace has kind of been up and down throughout those seasons, but shorter, I'm telling you, shorter, concise seasons are the way to go in the future. I mean, we're way past the days of 22, 23 episodes. Even 16 is almost pushing it. If you don't break it down. And The Flash has found a way to as we've been saying all along, break down the seasons into story arcs that makes it easier to follow and more compelling for the season. I do see that the ratings have jumped a little bit. It's not going to be season 1, but it has been, for the most part, maintaining where it was in season 3. So hopefully that's a good indication that they might give the show another chance, at least one more season with Kayla, particularly to allow for us to go out on a very positive note with the show. But I think even with this season, they're doing a good job with that. So before we do jump into the recap, wherever you listen to this podcast, Stitcher, iTunes, Podbean, Spotify, go down to the rating section, drop me some stars, leave a review. My social media will be there as well. Remember to like, share, and subscribe. If you want to send feedback for Charmed or any of the other shows that we are doing, including in June, we're going to start doing movies, blackgirlcouch@gmail.com. So how do we want to break this down? I think we're going to start with the Kayla storyline, the Maggie storyline, and the Maggie and Kayla storyline, the Mel and Ruby arc, and then we'll leave off where the episode ended with Harry. So Kayla has been up in the attic drawing with her busted finger or thumb. He did magically attach it. But he or she is drawing images from the 37 times that she has done the spell to reveal her parents. She sees them in bed holding her. There is no explanation of why they gave her up, but I guess it doesn't matter. Whatever the reason, she trusts that it was a good reason by their reaction at the end. Like, it wasn't something like, oh, we didn't care. Whatever the reason was, they clearly have been holding on to that themselves, and she chose not to add to that. That's such a emotionally intelligent thing to do, and I was really proud of her for that. Mel comes up to check on her and tells her that they went out to look for the bowl to figure the raid part out. Mela has a lot on her shoulders. She spent most of this episode really blaming herself for a lot of things that were happening. Granted, there were a few people that were telling her it was indeed her fault. But she's going to go back to the command center. She wants Kayla to focus on her anxiety around possibly meeting her parents. And that's how we start to diverge the story arcs. Maggie comes up to check on her. She's itching the crap. I know that feeling after my surgery. So I almost wanted to start scratching with her. Like, oh no, that is the worst type of pain when something is trying to heal together. She's frustrated, but she says she did get a license plate. And Maggie offers her dad's friend Chuchi to run the license plate down to figure out if they still... I mean, usually that is the case, right? You can figure out who previously owned the vehicle. And that will lead to the names of her parents. Kayla is worried about how they're gonna receive her. Maggie tells her it's, just one step at a time, basically. Then she and Harry go to the store. Actually, I think that's pretty much where we started with them. And then when she came back, she was talking to Kayla. But her and Harry end up going to a magical store. It is the last place where the bowl was sold prior to Ray buying it, the other half of it. And she's upset at her father for not telling her about it. She says, I would strangle him myself if he wasn't already dying.
Man, you know what? I'm tired of you! I'm tired of this shit!
They split up. Harry begins to talk to the froggish owner, who is more than willing to... How is it that everyone else is known to be associates of the Charmed Ones, but Harry's name is not up there? Because he immediately said, oh, and they did have a sign that said the unseen. That is when... So the store is a supporter, but I feel like it's a different kind of movement that's covering up the lost one. Like they're trying to get everyone invested into going against the Charmed One so that when the lost one comes into play, he feels, or she feels like someone that is a solution to the issue, but it's basically convincing people to allow their overlords to take over by ostracizing the one people that can actually help you. You then are now subjugated to someone that is worse, and now you don't have that support. Yeah, that's happened plenty of times in history. So Harry is about to bribe his way to that scroll, and the guy is not being coy at all. When he walked up to him, put his hands on him, he said, can I help you? I'm like, yeah, you can get this booger juice off my shoulder.
Gross. You nasty.
However, when Froggy sees Maggie, he's like, a Charmed One.
Listen. Fuck up. Get out.
Harry's like, we should just leave. But she's like, no, I'm not leaving. I did nothing wrong. You're going to give me that fucking information that you keep staring at over there. And you're also going to not talk shit to my face like you know me. And that's her issue when she gets back and she's talking to... Did she say it to Harry or to Kayla? I think it was to Kayla. That people are talking shit about me and they don't even know me. People are just spreading lies, and I know it shouldn't bother me, but it does bother me. Because I know who I am as a person, and I don't appreciate people out there on the internet talking a whole bunch of mess, and they don't know me at all. They have no idea who I am as a person, what I've been through. And I think this is a little bit more of that meta commentary going on. I feel like the real villain of the season is internet trolls. Or stans. One or the other. So then she agrees. Well, she says she had Chuchi on it, right? Tucci, whatever that guy. I was surprised we didn't see no Ray in this episode, but I was glad that we didn't focus on Ray. I think the thing about this episode that works the most is that we focus primarily on the sisters. There's no outside. There's not even the threat of what the villain is this season. It's a focus on their interpersonal relationships and issues, being charmed ones as well as humans. And I like that. I like the simplicity of it. So they realize, Maggie realizes that they have a problem later on, which she tells Mel about, is the fact that on that stupid station with that guy that's so angry, I don't even know why. Like anyone, we put out a hit list on anyone associated with the Charmed Ones. That includes Esperanza. Is that her name? Because I forgot. I think it's Josefina. There we go. I'm thinking of Flash. Jordan's up there. Ruby is up there. As well as maybe Harry was up there and I just missed it. It could possibly, because I felt like there was 4 people up there. No, Ray was up there. No, Harry wasn't up there. And I was like, really? These are the people? So that's the hit list that has gone out, and they say this is where you can find them at their house, and that explains how they veiled home, got all over the cyber web, and thus they have to rush home. That's when Maggie goes home to protect Kayla. She takes Harry with her. Her parents are also a part of it. They even know she's searching for her parents. I'm like, wait a minute. Now, we don't have no many bugs rolling around, so how the fuck they getting this information? I would like to know. Who is the spy? They should not be privy to these details. And I refuse to believe that Jordan is a snitch. He's too precious for this world for him to be like, you know what? Fuck them Charmed Ones. I won't believe it. So, who is giving up the secrets? Because how could they possibly know she was searching for her parents? Kayla, they get home. Kayla is sitting there practicing how she's going to talk to her parents. Hi. I love the British accent because that would totally be me on just any day. Hello, Governor. How you doing? Don't know I'm talking with British accent. Not British at all. But I'll still do it. I do it all the time with my daughter. We just talk to each other. I'm sure the whole of the United Kingdom is like, what the fuck? How dare you? But I thought that was a cute scene for Kayla. They tell her what's going on. They protect the house. That's when Harry says that I'm going to go. They need to find this name in the book. It's DB something, but they can't see the last part of their name because when they took it, and then they took the scroll back to I skipped a whole bunch of parts. Because she took the scroll from the guy, but as she was doing it, she mimicked his power. So now she has a hand that is like his froggy, ugly looking hands. And it looks terrible because there's a toxin on it. Except that toxin, you're immune if you're a magical person. But if you're a human, this could be fatal. She's freaking out because now she can't interact with anyone without possibly killing them. And it's not going away and she doesn't know why. And she's also having her hand stick to things and it's really irritating. And it looks like her whole entire hand is a disease. I mean, it's not pretty. So yeah, that would put me out too. It's what I'm trying to say. That's when she goes home to talk to Kayla and Harry's like, well, I'm going to see what I can find, follow up on the magical bowl. And then Mel says they're going to make some magical little dolls. What did she call them? Belial dolls or something like that? To protect all of the people that they know that are associated with them since they're all on hit lists. And apparently all it requires is you to write down your birthday. On a piece of paper and then put it inside the doll. That's awesome, though. That's a nice little magical thing that they did. Then we have Kayla and Maggie talking. I did laugh when she said, "Welcome to the Busted Hand Club." Maggie is frustrated that it's not going away. Kayla is freaking out because she doesn't know what to say to her parents. She doesn't really want to know the story, but she wants to know the story. She doesn't know how she should react around them. She's like, you just say hi. That's a start. And then you take it from there, because life is too short to let fear ruin or run your life. Sometimes you just got to leap in. She doesn't tell her, oh, everything's going to be fine. She says, at least you'll have the opportunity to do something like meeting your parents. And she explains, yeah, I never actually got to meet my birth dad. He died. And that's the first time we hear the name Dexter once again in a very long time, which should have prepared me for what was coming. But I like the correlation of it. And they bond over that fact because she knows what she's going through in that particular moment, meeting, never knowing why someone particularly wasn't in your life, and never having that opportunity to reconcile that. And if nothing else, you have that opportunity. So it's a nice little sisterly moment between them. She says, well, good, because I have the names. They are, oh, I forgot. I totally forgot. I feel terrible. I forgot their names. I feel like it was at the tip of my tongue and then it just kind of went away. Something Zephyr. The Zephyrs. That's all I got. The Zephyrs. And so they go to their home and she's like, look, I'll go in, do the get what I need to protect them. And whenever you feel comfortable, you can come in. And Kayla's like, no, I'm good. I got this. They get to the door. They knock on the door. There's a knock on your door. Your daughter's coming for you. They open the door. He's like, I don't know how your car broke down when I don't see any car anywhere. This sounds sus. But at the same time, I can tell that you're two beautiful black girls that seem to have knocked on my door for a reason. So I'm going to let you in and give you some sweet tea. Because, you know, we love some sweet tea. I also appreciated the Black Lives Matter banner on the porch.
Obama say what it do.
Nice and subtle. They get in and Maggie is pretending to be on the phone while she allows Kayla to have a moment with their parents. And she asks who's the artist, which is her dad. Her mom works as an ecologist, wildlife ecologist, I believe. She's like, that's so cool. Maggie's like, are you gonna do this? Because I'm done with my part. And she stands up and says, no, we should get out of your hair. And she had a glass of that sweet tea. And she puts the glass down. She shakes the dad's hand. And mom picks up the glass. Unfortunately, both are exposed to the toxin. And that's when they realize that they're not magical at all. They're straight up humans. Unlike Trinity, or whatever that bitch's name is, in The Flash, Kayla realizes you didn't do this on purpose. It's not your fault, as she's over there one-handed trying to make the remedy. I love how she put pillows underneath them. She's like, look, this is not your fault. And maybe you have something that you're holding on to, which is why you still have that sticky finger. She's like, I can't believe that you are trying to Dr. Phil me at this moment. And that's my thing. But also, you're probably right. But she's like, look, it's not your fault. Shit happens. Let's just finish this fucking thing and get it done with. And then also, what I really loved what she said to her is, no matter, you're still my sister, even if we're not blood related. I have accepted you as my sister. We are the charmed ones. I am a charmed one. And I accept that truth in my life. She's not fighting it at all. She feels like she's found her home with her two, charmed sisters at this point. So hearing that makes Maggie feel better. They cure them. The parents are not going to remember anything. And when she steps outside, they ask who she is, and she finally just breaks down because she realizes this is my opportunity, that I am your daughter. I like the scene at the table where both parents were emotional. You must have so many questions. We thought about this because most adopted parents do. Like, what happens if my child shows back up in my life at some point? What do I say to them? Doesn't seem like they've had other children. And when they get all emotional and she sees that this is something that wasn't easy for them, this is something that they probably have been, as I stated earlier, been obsessing about as well, or thinking about, or having heavy on their heart. And she grabs their hand and she says, I don't need to know about the past. I just want to know who you are now. So let's just start at the beginning. And I love that. I loved everything about that scene. It was emotional, it was well acted, well portrayed. Let's move over to the Mel side of things. When she goes to the well, first we start with Ruby and a flashback, and I was like, whoa, okay. Ruby's getting her story arc. We finally get something about Ruby, about why she doesn't want to use magic. This is what we should have known from the character from the time that she was brought into the show. But I'm glad that we're getting it now. We see that she's talking to Swan. They miss each other. She goes up to her car and there are some yellow daffodils. I don't know much about flowers. I'm not a botanist. Sunshine flowers, I think that's what he says in there. Sunshine flowers. And she has a flashback to her and her mom coming home. And when they do come home, her demon dad is there. He's tracked them down. They've been on the run from him. And they use their powers to try, because he can clone himself, to get away. Mom says, we got to go into witness protection. And she stabs the book that she has, and they get away from the abusive demon dad. But now he is back. Mel finds her. She's crying. She's like, what's going on? No, seriously, what's going on? She tells her, my dad is back. I will say the one line, you sure it's not Swan that left you the flowers? Bitch! You don't think I called and said? No, he left a note. She realizes that she's the person, her association with Mel is what put her a target on her, and how her father found her. So she feels extremely guilty about that. She takes her to the command center. That's when she shares the information with her other two sisters. Ruby says that she's going to wait for Kayla and Maggie to come back before they confront the demon dad. However, when they are done with first they have this conversation in the command center where they're working on the doll. She's like, you want to see me do something cool, like go through time and defy space and something, which I thought was a really nice line from Mel. Her being excited about her powers. She goes back in time and we get the OG Book of Shadows being brought from the past finally back into the show where it belongs. And you even have Ruby, who's not even totally into magic, being like, is that the book? The book? Yeah, it is the book. Yeah, you're so cool. I know. They find the spell that they need. They start working on it. And she completely forgets her birthday. And this sparks a conversation where she says, look, I know I may not have always, me being busy, you did matter to me. And Ruby says, yeah, well, even if I never showed it, I did appreciate it. They have they still care deeply about each other. And that's fair. Then she writes down her own birthday. Like, it's November 16th. I'm like, oh, it's 8 days after mine. And they carry on. They go upstairs so they need more lavender. And that's when they see that Earl has shown up and is just threatening people. Like, yeah, where is my daughter? Where is Ruby? They think that she hasn't been seen, but he clones and says, hey, Sunshine. He wanted to protect her, supposedly. And that's when they use the matches to go to the Blue Camellia. The minute they do get to the Blue Camellia, there's nothing but evil glares in Mel's direction.
I fucking hate that girl, God.
Ruby's like, why the hostility? Oh, I had a hot girl summer and I may have ghosted a lot of women in here, but then it turns into a civil war. I don't know why I laughed so hard when Roxy walked over and all the feathers were on her coat. I was like, what? How did that happen, ma'am? How did that happen? She smokes everybody out. It seems as if there are people who are on the Charm One side, so that's good to see, but it's still funny. They show up in the room and everybody starts going at each other. Another meta commentary there of what some of the fandoms look like. So she smokes everybody out. She's like, you are a shit stain, Mel Vera. You are absolute shit stain.
Oh, I knew you were trouble when you walked in. So shame on me now. Blew me to places I've never been. Now I'm lying on the cold hard ground. Oh, trouble.
She called Ruby Curly Sue. She's like, tell your girlfriend. She's like, technically we're not. This is so, why is it so weird for me to say that we're exes? Because honestly, I'm still trying to figure that out myself, is what her brain was telling her in that moment. You know how when you get with someone, you're like, ooh, I remember what it was like when we were together. Then the minute you do continue to spend time with them, you're just like, oh yeah, this is why we broke up. Like, your life is a little too hectic for me. Sorry. As they're downstairs, because she's like, look, Roxy, I know that, I brought trouble here, but can we please stay? Because I'm just trying to protect my friend. And she says, well, grab a mop, because this place ain't gonna clean itself. And she was genuinely mopping too, because I would have found some spell to make sure that happened. I cleaned everything up. They made a mention of Harry Potter this episode. Maybe they hid you away because they were saving you from an evil sorcerer. Oh, that was funny. So she apologizes to Ruby, says, I'm sorry that I got you into this. She's like, I love Ruby too when she was like, damn girl, how many people did you ghost? And she says, no, this is not your fault. Stop blaming yourself for every fucking thing. I was on the run from my dad for 7 years before I even met you. So how about you stop taking all responsibility for all actions and understand things have been happening in my life before you came into it? I like that subtleness. But she says, despite it all, we're some badass bitches and we should take the fight to him, is basically where we're getting this conversation. She does make mention of Roxy, and she says, she's like, the Iron Maiden is hot when she's mad, but damn. And she's like, oh, Roxy? Oh, she's not so bad. And she could also hear everything we're saying. And they're like, yeah, let's go handle the problem. And then all of a sudden, Roxy shows up with a sword and her Catwoman outfit. And she's like, make that 3 badass bitches. Because I kind of want to be in this fight. Because I want to spend time with Mel. But I don't want her to know that. Then there's a moment between the two of them as they're waiting for the dad to get there. Because they're going to have him clone matches or something. Where the women begin to talk, and she says, look, I owe you one. She's like, oh, you owe me more than one. She says, but oh, seriously, thank you for everything that you've done. I'm sorry I brought the issues here. Then she's like, look, girl, This is not, I'm a Circadian. This is not my first propaganda war. And she winks at her, and Ruby's like, the dad shows up. I will say, Ruby's tiny ass knife had me chuckling the entire time. I was like, why did they give her the Hobbit knife? But they decide to divide and conquer. So Mel takes out one clone, and then Roxy takes out the other clone, except now he can triple clone, and they were not prepared for that, so they need to regroup, and they walk away. Obsession can make you level up, and I was like, why did we have to use those words? Oh, they just needed to do it, didn't they? They needed to do it. And as they are hiding in the secret lair behind the walls, Mel comes up with a plan, like, we're going to use your voice to lure the clones in 3 separate directions so that we can isolate the real one, because he always can't, or the real one always has the red demon eyes. But that's going to require each of them having their voice. Both know what the spell is. And then Roxy says, it's going to require all of us to kiss. And then Mel's like, I already put it in my mouth. It's already in Roxy's mouth. Ruby's like, wait, what? Before Roxy kisses her and says, not bad, Curly Sue. And then Mel and Roxy kiss. Or Mel and... That's what I was trying to see. But Mel and Ruby kiss. Is it weird that both of her love interests have an R name?
What the fuck cannons?
So Ruby and Mel kiss. They end up luring the clones away. Ruby is the last to confront the real one, and he stabs her and says, look what you made me do, because you're hanging out with a charmed one. Except Ruby is protected by the magical doll and doesn't die when she is stabbed, and while Daddy's back is turned, is able to vanquish the demon. And she does not have any feelings whatsoever about killing her father. And I'm okay with that. At the end, they have another conversation where she says, now, you have freedom. You don't have to worry about it. It's a new start for you, because you don't have to worry about your dad anymore. And now you can decide who you want to be with. And she's like, yeah, I want us to be friends. And she's like, I would like that. That's probably the best thing going forward. So they gave them a proper goodbye. And I appreciate that, because I'm sure there are fans of Ruby. Clearly there were fans of Ruby. And wanted some, resolution that wasn't shitty to their particular relationship. I think that's it with that scene. Mel shows back up and has margaritas with some Tostinos and salsa, which sounds really good, in the backyard with her sisters. Let's go to that covers those bases. Let's go to Harry's story arc, because this is where things got really weird, and also where the progression of the magical part comes in. Jordan was off helping Ray. So Harry goes upstairs. He ends up revealing with some green goo that DBV are the initials. He uses his powers because he realizes that the person is dead because his powers activate when he touches their name, which is really cool. But the thing with Harry and his powers is we know by now that you need someone who's going to be, what do you call it when you're in training? A spotter. He needs a spotter. It's like, I need someone that's gonna, my hand turns all black. I need someone to pull me back from the brink of, and for some reason, I don't have a cosigner or a spotter anytime I keep doing this. So he touches it. He goes into the veil. And as he's in the veil, he shows up, and DBV is Dexter Vaughn.
Yeah.
He tells him that he should not be here, that bitch behind me in the white, she figures out that you're still breathing, she's gonna try to take you out. And he says, yeah, I can handle myself in the veil, but why are you here? You're the last owner of this cursed bowl. Why did you get it? He got it because he says that bowl is capable of removing any curse, including the one that was keeping him from being with Marisol and both his daughters. He thanks Harry for loving his daughter, both of them. And he says it was an honor. And he tells him, look, I can't leave here because they get chased away, but I can't leave here until I figure out what's going on, because I'm trying to protect your other daughter. And actually, I'm here to protect Ray. He didn't like hearing that name. He's like, I know you two probably got some beef because there seems to be a love triangle going on here. That's not my business. However, he's dying, and Maggie shouldn't have to lose another father. She already lost her sister. And he says, so it turns out that the Ancient Ones has gotten together back in the day to take out this threat. I'm guessing that is the Lost One. And they put all of their magic in a bowl that created a different type of, kind of like basically the Source. It's a magic that is out magicizes all the other magicizes. That's all I got for that. Harry's like, how come I didn't know this before? Harry, stop acting surprised that you don't know shit. Just because you're 150,000 years old don't mean you didn't know about you didn't know about Jimmy. So you can't at any point anymore be surprised that you've been fucked over from the previous magical community, that they got secrets that you don't know nothing about. You've been perpetually told this, so you cannot act surprised. They then are attacked and something happens and we don't know what it is. And we find out at the end of the episode that Harry is still in the veil because his hand is still all black and fucked up. But because he touched Harry, which is a living person, Dexter is now up in the attic alive. And nobody knows this yet. Nobody even thought to check on Harry. I'm a little disappointed because that man is in y'all house. They're like, yeah, we trying to get fucked up down here and eat these Tostinos. Which Tostitos? That sounds so good. That sounds so freaking good right now. I think I'm about to go have me some chips and salsa. I ain't got no margaritas, but we'll make up for that somehow, some way. And I think that pretty much covers the entirety of the episode. I'm sure if we got more to discuss, we'll get it in feedback. And speaking of, let's hop on to the mailbag, shall we?
Hey Christina, one, happy Mother's Day, or it's now Monday, but late my time, so sorry for the late message, but I hope you had a good Mother's Day. And I'm here to give my review of Charmed Season 4, Episode 8, Unveiled. I actually really enjoyed this episode. And I actually enjoy that we got to just kick it off. I enjoyed that we got to get like some of Ruby's backstory and kind of the unfortunate situation that her and her mother had and their domestic violence, situation with her stepdad. And so I thought that was really good to kind of get a better understanding. And actually, I think this made me like Ruby a little bit more because of just seeing her background and all that stuff. And I also thought it was a cool, the spell that they did, I thought it was a cool callback to what they did at the end of season 2. So that was really, really cool. It's actually really surprising too, because I didn't know this, but when they were going into the witness protection, it seemed like Ruby wanted to still be a witch, but because of just her demon stepdad, her mom, I guess convinced her or talked her into knowing like it's better to be alive than be a witch and still be hunted down by this crazy man. So I guess it's interesting that, there was a moment in Ruby's life that she wanted to be a witch and keep her powers. And I wonder if she's going to one day want to get her powers back, because I think she's still a witch, but she just doesn't have her powers. So I wonder if she's going to want to go back and decide, hey, I want to get my powers and do that. So that was, and then I guess with Ruby, I think her and Mel this episode was better than a lot of their chemistry was a little bit better. And I do think that the writers are just going to set them up as friends and nothing more. And I hope I'm right with that, because I'd rather they just be friends. They help each other out. Yada, yada, yada. That's really what I want for Ruby and Mel. And I think this episode was kind of the way of signaling like, yeah, they're just going to be friends. But I thought it was kind of cool. The dolls that Mel kind of made to protect everyone, kind of their get out of free death card type of situation. So if they did die once, they could come back, but it was a one-time thing. So I guess just jumping into Mel, I don't really have a lot to say about Mel, except I thought it was cool that she's getting control of her time powers. And I also thought it was great that we got to see the original Book of Shadows. Woohoo! The Book of Shadows came back. Yay! I'm kind of hoping, though, I'm hoping some way, somehow, they kind of bring it back again and keep it permanently. But that's just me being like a fan. And I think I'm going to say this a lot throughout my feedback, but I actually enjoy the episode with all three. And I'm saying sisters because, I still don't believe, Michaela's biological parents are her parents, or I don't know. We'll see. I'll get to that in a few moments. But I did enjoy I think throughout each of the sisters' interaction, whether it was Michaela and Mel or Michaela and Maggie, there is that sisterly connection and support. And I think I got to praise them for doing a better job of just showing that sisterhood amongst all three of them this season compared to the last season. Because I felt like when we got sisterhood, it was just really with Maggie or Macy or Maggie and Mel. Never really any sister moments with Macy and Mel. But I think this season, just seeing how all three of them are supportive of each other, they're there for each other. It's really something that I really appreciate and I love, and I hope they continue that the rest of the season, and also if they get renewed next season. But with Mel, I don't really have a lot to say about her except that I think it's good that she's getting control of her powers, and I also think it's good that her and Ruby are coming to this new relationship of just being friends. And I think it also opens up, Mel and that bar owner of possibly becoming a thing one day. Which again, I'm down for that. As long as Mel's not with Ruby, I am down for that. I think going next into Maggie, I kind of like the situation with her new powers of her turning into that frog-like creature and just sticking to anything she touches. I thought that was kind of cool. And I think Maggie's also getting control of her new power, because for her, it was just calming down and just not keeping the anger. Even though, listen, if that shopkeeper had talked to me the way he talked to Maggie, I would have reacted the same way. I would have been very pissed off and wanting to go swinging in his face. Like, how dare you make assumptions about me without knowing who I am? Like, come on, get real news. Don't follow those fake news people. But again, that's me rambling right now. So I don't really have a lot to say about Maggie this week either. I think the main two people that I really wanted to focus on was Harry and the surprise person that they brought back, as well as Michaela and her parents. So just jumping into Harry, I am glad that we're seeing Harry kind of his old Harry, being involved with the girls, helping them out, being, their white lighter, even though he's no longer a white lighter. So I really appreciate that. what I enjoyed, especially about this episode with Harry, was when he used his powers after he got that scroll and was kind of looking at that DBV. One, I was like, who the hell is DBV? Like, this is going to be a useless character. But surprise, surprise, it's Macy and Maggie's father. Now, listen, Christina and everybody, when I saw him, I gasped. Like, I literally gasped out loud in my apartment. I was like, oh my God, like, he's back? So I was so happy to see Dexter. I was so happy that he acknowledged not only Macy, because obviously he's going to acknowledge Macy, but he also acknowledged Maggie as his daughter too, and how he wasn't able to see her. And I also loved how, again, this season they've been doing a good job of tying it in to the past seasons. I also appreciated how Dexter really wanted and was really in love with Marisol, and he really wanted his family to be together, and he wanted to break Macy's curse so that Macy could be with her mom. And I thought this was like a great continuum of that story, just of Macy's demon side, the curse, and just kind of like Marisol having to be separated from her kids. So I really, really enjoy that. And I also enjoyed how, when Harry was telling Dexter that Maggie and Mel's other dad, is cursed too with this bowl and he needs help. And Dexter was like, fuck him. Excuse me, I don't know if I'm able to curse, but was like, screw that man, I don't care. And then Harry had to knock some sense in him, like, hey, listen, you don't want Maggie losing her dad. She's already lost her mom and her sister and you. Now, let's not have her losing another person that she cares about and being hurt. So I really enjoyed it, and I'm actually excited for him. Like, is he back for life? Is he alive? Does he have to go back to the dead? Like, is it temporary, him coming out of the veil with Harry? Like, I really have a lot of questions. Is he going to stick around? Is there going to be a fight between Ray and Dexter? Like, are we going to get Marisol? Like, I want to see Marisol, and I'm hoping that the remaining seasons we actually see their mom, because one of the things I also enjoy is that we at least see the mom, whether it's in the flashback or she comes back some way each season. So I hope they continue that, and I hope we do see Marisol, whether it's a flashback or she comes back again. I would love to see her. So overall, I'm very excited. I'm also excited for Maggie that she's actually going to get to know her biological dad and, get to know more about Macy, like understand what it was like with Macy growing up, and even what Dexter was like as a dad. So I'm very, very excited about that. Now, jumping into my favorite character of the season, Michaela, and the surprise, she meets her family. I wanted a little bit more from this. Like, when she finally revealed that she was their daughter, I kind of wanted, and her parents were like, you're probably wondering why you gave me up. I kind of wanted her to say yes. Why did you leave me at the fire station? Why did you give me up? Like, did you not want me? Could you not afford to have a baby? Because you look like you can afford it now. Like, why did you give up? Because they didn't look like they were struggling. Like, the dad was a sculptor, and the mom was I don't know what she was, like a scientist or something around that, but they own their own home, it looks like. They're still together. They seem to be doing fine for themselves. Could they not afford the daughter at the time? Like, really, why did they give her up? That's my first question. 2, finding out they were mortals and that they're not magical at all. Unless they used to be magical and they gave up their powers. So I'm thinking it's either they are mortals, no magical background, nothing at all, or they had magical powers and I guess they gave it up either when they had Michaela or afterwards or before, but they were magical at one point. So I would love to understand if that's the case, kind of what their background story is and all that stuff. And also, it appears that they didn't have any other kids, at least at the time, at least when we're in the house. I didn't see any pictures when they were going through, so I guess it's just them. And I guess Michaela doesn't have any other siblings, which she does. That'll be interesting. And I think 3, like, if those are her true biological parents, okay? If those are her true biological parents, and if they are not magical at all and have no magical background, how the hell is she a charmed one? If the charmed ones are supposed to be a trio of sisters, like, help me out. And I think whether, and I hate to say this, if it is true that Michaela is not their biological sister, I did at least appreciate the moment between her and Maggie around, regardless of what the situation is, they are sisters. Even if they're not biological sisters, they are sisters. So I'm going to keep referring to them as sisters, even if they aren't sisters, because I think that moment for me gave me my closure. That moment of, okay, they're sisters. And I think that's really what I was hoping for, even though it's not really what I was hoping for, but I can live with that because they at least, all 3 of them view each other as sisters. And that's, I think, important. And I think that is something that I'm going to walk away from. So I think that was really interesting. Now, here's something that I want to call out. So Macy and Maggie's dad, his last name starts with a V, Vaughn. Mel and Maggie's father last name starts with a V, Vera. Michaela's biological parents' last name starts with a V. I don't know if there's a coincidence there, but all of their biological father's last names starting with the V, granted it's different last names, but they each start with the V. All the girls, their first name starts with an M. So I don't know if that's something that is worth exploring, or if it's just kind of like a far-fetched theory, but I'm just throwing it out there. I am excited for these last, because it's 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Oh my God, I could have just counted in my head. I'm excited for these last 5 episodes. I'm really, really looking forward to where they take the story, and kind of what happens next, because there's just a lot more to tell. And I really do hope we get a season 5 with them. Anyway, that's it for me. Thank you again for going with me on this rampage of thoughts, and I hope you have a great week, and I can't wait to listen to your review. Bye.
That was Trevor with his thoughts on the episode. He be cracking me up. You be cracking me up with your theories. With your sisterly theories. I am at this point just going with the flow. I think all things are possible. And I'm rolling with everybody else's theories because I really don't have many of my own. The thing with the names, I was just bringing that up. That could have significance. That could just be someone likes to be literate when they're writing things. They're just like, let's just give them all the same name, because yeah. So I'll be curious to see if that actually has any bearing in the future. What does that note say? Oh yes, sisterly support is better portrayed in this season than it has been in, I think, the previous seasons. That's why I like this episode so much, because it was more about the sisters supporting each other. And I like the fact that we can split off in groups and it doesn't need to be the same groups. Like, I like the fact that they're keeping Ruby on as a character that can be played off of Mel when we need that. We can even bring Swan in there when we need that. Something I've said about The Flash. We don't need every character in every scene, every episode. We can just utilize some of these, because there's too many in the main cast and not supporting cast. Supporting cast is not required to be in every episode and shouldn't be. You should be writing around them when they're needed. When you said, oh, excuse my language, I was like, Trevor, have you heard me speak? I fucking curse all the time. If you listen to any other podcast, I probably curse more than I do on this particular podcast. You can always curse. I am an avid supporter of the potty mouth. Yes, I have one myself. I forgot to mention that Maggie did the blog at the end where she says, look, I just want to put the story, I want to put a story out there about myself, and this is my way of controlling that. I thought that was another one of those meta comments. I think there is a lot of interest around the dad. I think that was something I wasn't expecting either. Not at all. So for him to be back in the mix, for them to finally start to give Maggie some more bit of, like, she's a little bug to Ray, but she really is never, and it doesn't even really speak about the fact that she actually isn't just, she's also black, and she has an ancestry that she might be interested in. And she never even really brought up those conversations about what's it like to live with you and your dad to Macy when they did. They dropped those scenes or that chance to explore that. So to bring it back in, I think is a smart move. And I have no idea. I do know that for some reason, I bet that Harry's going to be stuck in the Vale. He's going to meet up with Homegirl because she up in the Vale doing shits. I just said I'm not going to theorize. But because we are now on that shipping train made out of nothing but smoke, that's what I'm going to surmise that happens. That he meets up with Candace and McClure and then they have scenes together and I will be happy. But I think because they keep showing the footprints, that for whatever reason, when he touched him, he's able to come back. He's probably going to be able to, because he did say, like, what are you doing here? He's like, I think, because the Vale is for people who still have unfinished business, right? So, because that was his whole thing of maybe she came back to the Vale because she still needed to, to say goodbye to me. So he's going to come. He's probably we're going to have some really good scenes probably in the next few episodes. Rupert's busy, so he'll probably be gone somewhere. Or he'll just be in the Vale and he'll get an opportunity to make peace with his daughter so that he can move on. Wherever the fuck Marisol is. I mean, I could take or leave seeing Marisol. I don't really care too much, but for the girl, sure. And I think lastly that the scene with them, like the knowing why you gave me away, maybe it's just because I've seen it so many times in television shows. I think it just doesn't matter why I guess it could, depends on the person, right? Because I can't say that wouldn't. Someone would say, no, I need to really know why you gave me away. But because we have those same ideas, you say, because it looks like they got some money right now. They might not have, 23 years ago. They might have had situations where they live in Georgia, for fuck's sake. It probably was a race thing. That's why they got Black Lives Matter up there. We just gonna come up with the story. Whatever the story was, I think for Kayla in that moment, it didn't matter to her because I can dwell on that. You gave me away, whatever reason you give me, it's not going to change the fact that you gave me away, whether it's a good reason, bad reason. I don't need to know. I can see from who you are that you are good people. So whatever the reason is, I'll get to that, but it doesn't need to be the first thing I know about you. I want to know everything about who you are leading up to that moment that you gave me away. So that's kind of how I read the scene. And I liked it because we do hear the same thing over with. Oh, I didn't have money, or I was young, or I was this, or I was that. We know all the stories, reasons why, unless you're a piece of shit and you want to portray them as a piece of shit. It's a rather cliche reasoning of why you give up your child. I couldn't, I was too young. They did it in the right manner. Because that's what you're supposed to do, give your kid up to a fire station and not just leave him on the street. So, I mean, whatever that reason was, it was not more important than getting to know them. And that's what she wanted to do first before she goes into me. And that's, like I said, that was just an emotionally intelligent thing to do. I connect with it a lot too, because I never knew my real dad. I met my real dad once, and that was a weird experience, and I do not want to repeat it whatsoever. But I had that same, I didn't know who my real dad was until I was 13. And I was like, who the hell is this name on my birth certificate? And that's what my mom told me. It's not a good way to tell your child that they are not biologically related to someone you don't like. It was a whole thing. Eventually made peace with it. It just made sense to me. If anything, I was just like, oh, everything makes more sense to me. I wish you hadn't lied, because then it would have made just more sense to me, because I knew something was up. Even if you in your mind thought you were protecting whatever the reasons, don't do that to your kids. Like, I can understand that, like, you don't maybe want to tell them right away, but by the 10th birthday, tell your kid that who their real parents are. Don't do that. Don't be like, I'm gonna take this secret to my grave. They ain't doing, nobody know. They're gonna find out, and then they're gonna be pissed. Not because you're someone else or you're not gonna hate your dad or whatever. I never hate my dad after that. I was just like, oh, that makes sense. Just more like the fact that you lied to me. Got enough of that in the real world. But I connected with that idea of just wanting the opportunity to see what I can get from you. And then I got my opportunity. I was like, yeah, I don't want none of that. He still sends me messages on Facebook trying to be friends. I deny all of his requests. Because that's a resolution I made. I did not, there was nothing he had to offer me in my life. And I realized very quickly I wasn't missing anything from him not being in my life. And that's another thing, that sometimes you meet your parents and you're like, oh, okay, I got it. So maybe that's why I really like the way that they chose not to do a traditional way of handling that. And last and not least, and I look forward, thank you for the Mother's Day. My daughter, I had to bribe her to go downstairs just to get the water out of the car on Mother's Day. You would think she'd do that for free because it's Mother's Day. But kids ain't shit. So, thank you. I appreciate it. And I look forward to your feedback next week. And now, last but not least, let's hear from Queen Shy. Or not Queen Shy, sorry baby. Queen Mimi.
What up, Stina? It's Mimi. This is my feedback for Charmed. I just watched it. And I did like this episode. I know that for a fact. It was really engaging, I guess. There was a lot of things going on, a lot of interesting things that we saw, a lot of people that I don't think I thought we were going to see again. So I guess I can just get into it. The first group we could talk about is Harry and Dexter. Guess I remember his name after all this time. Because I guess Harry and Maggie went to a old antique shop, clearly for magical creatures, looking for the other half of the bowl, the Unity Bowl, to help cure Ray, their dad. And the person, it looks like everybody that is buying this bowl dies. And then the little frog man goes back and gets the other half of the bowl to sell it again. I guess it's kind of funny that he's talking shit about the charm ones when you're selling a bowl that you know kills people, and then go back and get the bowl to sell it again. But, you know, whatever. People like that are hypocrites, and they never see anything wrong with they're doing, but always blame everybody else. So we're not even going to go there. I'm not even going to talk about that, because I can ramble on forever about idiots like that shopkeeper. But turns out the last person that had the bowl was Dexter. I guess Maggie and Macy's dad. Side note, mistake me if I'm wrong, I don't remember Maggie really being interested in Dexter, because I don't remember ever hearing a conversation between Macy and Maggie about, okay, once she found out that they're really siblings because they have the exact same parents, like Maggie made it clear that Ray is still her dad, and like that was the end of it. Like I wish we would have got a conversation before this, so that we would have known that Maggie at some point was interested in her father. Because when Macy was alive, she never even talked about him. Like, they never had a conversation on screen about who he was, what kind of father he was. Like, I don't remember anything like that. I don't even remember them actually discussing, okay, so we're really sisters with the exact same parents. This changes stuff. Let's talk about like, you knew my mom, I knew our dad. Let's have a discussion. But anyway, as soon as we saw him and they brought up those damn gold footprints, I'm like, is he gonna, like, he has to be going back to talk to Maggie, because they keep pointing out those gold feet. And why is he in that place? Like, is that where you go when you deal with magic and you're not good? Is that like the veil? I don't remember, but I know it can't be an afterlife. But since he was a human, I'm confused on why he's in limbo and why he isn't, wherever humans go. Because the other creatures we saw in the veil were all magical. He's not. So did he die and go there because he was messing with the other half of that daggone bowl? And I hope that him being back in the real world will give us a chance to send him to the real place he needs to go. Because I don't remember how Macy said he died, but clearly she couldn't have known he died from magical entities, because she didn't even know she was a witch. So I'm very interested in next week. I'm very interested to see the interaction between Dexter and Maggie. I honestly didn't think he was going to be in this show, because I don't know if y'all remember this guy, but he's what I like to call black famous. He's in a lot of shows. So many shows, so many movies, but you can't quite remember his name. I can think of a bunch of black movies that I've seen, or even a television show I'm watching right now on the CW that he's in. And I know his face, but ask me what his real name is, I don't know. But I could name like 4 or 5 movies ranging all the way back to the 90s to now that I know he's been in. But for whatever reason, I can't remember this man's name. But I didn't think he would be back on the show, because I knew he was in other stuff. But that man be working. I can tell you that. He might not be a series regular, but that fool always getting a check, because he in everything. I see him in so many things. Even if it's just one episode or like a movie here and there. He's in a lot of stuff. So I'm proud of him for making him them consistent checks. And the show he's in right now, I don't know what the CW is doing, but I freaking love it. It's called All American Homecoming. Now, I know I didn't try to get you to watch All American, because there's some fine ass dudes in it, Christina, but you don't like football. And I try to explain it. It's like football is like the backdrop, but it's like, to me, it's like a soap opera with black folks. But it's like black folks, like you got the people from California that's from Compton. They're not from Compton. I don't remember. Compton-ish, whatever. And then you have the people from Beverly Hills. So, like, I've never been to California, but I hear that, California or Beverly Hills and Compton are not far from each other. But they're like in 2 different worlds. So, it's interesting. But this spinoff is about one of the girls that's from the All-American, the original, but she graduated high school and now she's at a HBCU. It's called Brinkston, but it's really like Spelman, Morehouse type thing, because it's in Atlanta. It's in Georgia. I think it's in Atlanta, but I know it's in Georgia. Brinkston isn't a real college, but it's like a spinoff of not a spinoff. What's the word I'm looking for? Like a parody, I guess. But it's like has all kinds of black people in it from a different range, and Dexter plays one of the characters' dads, and the show is really good. And with what CW is doing right now, I don't know if it's going to get renewed. I should say it's good for me. But if All American was renewed for a second season, or this will be season 5, they were already renewed. They were renewed at the same time as The Flash. So I'm assuming we have a chance, but I don't know. I guess only time will tell. So far, I'm just, watching it and taking it in one episode at a time, and not expecting anything, because if it gets canceled, what the hell can I do? I do enjoy it very, very thoroughly, and it's one of the shows I actually make sure I watch before I watch anything else, because it's one of my favorites. that's happening so far. So whatever, we'll see. Now that rant's finished, go back to Dexter. I'm very happy to see that he's alive, and I can't wait to see what all happens, because I don't even know if Maggie knows what he looks like. I know she knows he's black, but has Macy ever showed pictures? I know we have flashbacks of Macy talking to her dad, but that's all I remember. So I guess we'll have to wait and see. And Harry, he really be out here wilding with his nonsense. Like, you would think he would have a game plan, since the last time he went into the Vale, they had to be saved by, like, the first charmed one. Dude, can you have an exit strategy, please? A plan? Like, you never know what you're going to walk into, and you clearly don't know how to handle these powers yet. You can go into this place, but you can't seem to get yourself out. Lately, people have to be, like, everyone's been helping you get out of it. But, I don't know. Someone needs to work with him and get him some type of plan, like maybe some type of magical extra strategy, or, you know, maybe always have someone anchor him or someone go with him. I don't know, but y'all need to work that out, because Harry don't listen to reason. I understand, but maybe now, since he's come to terms with what's happening with Macy, maybe he'll be more in tune to listen about these powers that he don't know much about. You know, he was a white lighter for so long, you know, you think he understand. Maybe I should get a handle on this first before I just jump into these necromancy spells and go into this Vale not knowing what the hell's going to happen. I don't know. But speaking about the Vale, maybe I can't remember what her name is, the first charm one, maybe she'll have to go in somewhere and get Harry, because clearly he didn't wake up like Dexter did, so I'm assuming he's still in the Vale. Only one person can go, so my assumption is he's still there, and his hand is black, and that can't be good. What else? I wanted to talk about the Ruby and Mel situation. I'm glad they are friends, so it's not gonna be rekindling, even though I guess he even got her goodbye kiss. She helped save Ruby from her evil stepfather. So now she has no reason to fear magic. I thought that was what the end goal was going to be, but it was actually a pleasant surprise that they were like, you know, I still want to be with Swan. I want to be your friend. You know, we didn't work, but we can be friends. And, you know, now that she doesn't have a fear of using magic, and it looked like from the flashback with her mom that she loved doing magic, maybe she'll be like a helpful hand magically, or maybe she'll never use it again. Maybe we won't see Ruby anymore. I don't know. I guess we will see. But I think if they're friends, it's open for her to come back and help, especially with no reason for her not to use magic. The last thing I want to talk about is Kayla and Maggie. First of all, Maggie, you knew that your hand was slimy. Like, okay, even if you thought Kayla's parents were magical, why the hell are you just walking around grabbing stuff with that slimy ass, gross ass hand? You could wear a mitten or a glove or something covering it up. Like, when she was like shaking their hand, and I was like, you are so gross. What is wrong with you? You know your hand is slimy. Even if they are magical creatures, don't nobody want your snotty hand. When frogs have that like sticky substance, it's mucus. That is disgusting. I don't want nobody blowing their hands and blowing their nose in their hand and then shaking it on my hand. Like, that's disgusting. When she just was holding the glass, and I was like, this heifer need her ass whooped. That was so fucking gross. You knew your hand was like that. You knew you couldn't get rid of it. Bitch, cover it up. And then to find out, like, I guess that was a way for them to find out that they're just human. But still, like, I feel like, you know, hygienically, you shouldn't have never even that shouldn't have never been a possibility. Like, so gross. I was utterly disgusted with Maggie. She had it all over the glass, on the dude's hand, shaking it. Oh yeah, I chewed some gum. bitch, that's worse. You're a grown-ass woman and you just put some gum in your hand and made it sticky. Like, ew. If I was Kayla, I'd be like, you are fucking embarrassing me right now. You couldn't. Oh, God. Ugh. I'm sorry. That was just so gross to me. And just, like, have some clues about you, Maggie. Lord have mercy. I'll never understand what it's like to be adopted, so I can't sit here and talk about Kayla for going to the door and saying, oh, our car broke down. And I'm like, why didn't you just tell them the truth? And then I'm thinking, well, it might not be that easy. So I allowed it. But I'm glad in the end, after they woke up on the floor, she was able to say, I'm your daughter. I personally wanted to know why they gave her up. But I feel like that wasn't my request to ask. So she didn't want to know. So I was like, I guess we'll just never know. I still hope that, especially now since Mel can go, she literally went back in time and grabbed the old Book of Shadows, that we can at least see, in the past. Like, maybe they don't do it on purpose, but we find out why they put her up for adoption. I don't think I ever voiced it on here, so I'm gonna go ahead and just say it out loud. My theory was that the baby that Mel had in the future was really Michaela, and somehow, like, something's happening with the future, and they needed to because Mel can time travel and take things with her. She finally learns how to take humans, and she takes the baby and she put it on the steps or the firehouse or whatever, to leave Michaela there, so that when Macy does die, there's a new charmed one. But now I don't understand how that theory would even work. But it has to be something isn't right, because both of them couldn't have been humans both can't be humans with a witch. Like, a human and a witch can make a witch, but two humans, how often do they make a witch? Was it a mutation? Did something happen? I don't know, but I'm very curious. Is it possible that the babies were switched and somehow that picture was wrong? I don't know how often magic is wrong, but I'm just very curious. And since I've rambled on for such a long time anyway, I am gonna just end it here. But I just wanted to record this as soon as I watched it, so I didn't forget, because I have to work today and for the next 2 days. And then I'm gonna be going to Vegas. I know you saw my new hair. I'm trying to be noticed by John B, because that's my boo thing. I want him to see my red hair in the audience and be like, hey, you red, come here, let me sing to you. That's my dream. It always has been. Anyway, so until next time, love, peace, hair grease, and black girl magic. Queen of the couch, Mimi out. Can't wait to hear what you guys think of this episode, because like I said, I really liked it. Have a good day and a good week, Christina. I'm sure I'll talk to you at some point offline.
That was Queen Mimi with her thoughts on the episode. She said, I just wanted to let you know I recorded this when I watched it. I did what you said. That's essentially what I was hearing that whole time. And her trying to soft pitch me into All American, the spinoff. Girl, you can pitch me all damn day. I ain't watching that shit. I'm glad that you enjoy it. I'm glad it's good. It's just kind of like certain things that I watch that you don't watch, and certain things you watch that I don't watch. You try to sell me on it all day long, but I'm telling you right now, I ain't going there. I don't think I can possibly watch another show on CW. The Flash and Charmed are pretty much where I cap out. You are correct in that, no, there was never, ever a mention or a talk between Macy and Maggie about Dexter, which I always felt was a failing. But hey, we're on the road to course correction. And it's kind of crazy because Ray wasn't even a great dad, which would explain why Dexter's so pissed off. Like, you had a chance to be this parent that I couldn't to this other daughter of mine, and then you weren't even that great. You weren't. You left my children. You never showed up on time. It's not like you were the ideal father, even though, there was problems. Marisol was sneaking off, cheating and shit. But you know, yeah, I would love to know something about the person that you know as my dad. And that would have made it rational, but hey, we're here now. As I stated earlier, I think that Dexter stated, because that's the same thing Harry asked, like, what are you doing here? I think he has unfinished business, and that unfinished business is his daughter. His other daughter's gone, which is kind of really sad. And now he has the last remaining of his daughters, and he never got to have that connection with her. So that's his unfinished business. And lastly, I did laugh when you said he's TV black actor famous. You're so right, because I can think of a million things he's been in, but I don't know his name at all. But yeah, sometimes you got to get that check by being a TV actor. And that's good money. Shit, I got to come in, put a little bit of work in, get to go home, meet a lot of cool people, get some free shit on the set. Sounds like a good life to me. And that is going to be the conclusion of this podcast. If you have any feedback oh yeah, I did want to say on last episode, the part about it being hot, yeah, I missed that she used her powers to cool it down. I realized that after the fact, that I recorded on the episode. No one actually told me. Oh, and I wanted to give a quick shout out to Shelly. I won't say your last name because you say you're a creeper in the shadows, so I'll respect that. But Shelly sent me some feedback, some insight. She showed me that she showed me how to watch the show without commercials, which, thank you. Secondly, she stated that the showrunner did come out, Jeff Lieber, who directed and wrote the episode. He fell on his sword about Harry's comment about loving Macy over the sisters. They tried to edit it out, but couldn't. So writers threw Harry under the bus on that one. So that was good insight, because I really don't follow the showrunners online or much of the show online. So always appreciate little bit tidbits like that. So now if you want to send feedback for the next episode, blackgirlcouch@gmail.com. My social media will be below. Remember to like, share, and subscribe. Until the next time, peace, hair grease, and black girl magic.